Hola. Hey, how are you? I'm going to be reading from Essentials of Strength and Training and Conditioning book. I'll be page 99. We'll go to Muscular Adaptations on page 99. Skeletal muscle adapts to anaerobic training, primarily by increasing its size, facilitating fiber type transition, and enhancing its biochemical and ultrastructural components, i.e. the architecture, the enzyme activity, and substrate concentration. Collectively, these changes ultimately result in enhanced muscular strength, power, and muscular endurance, which are critical to athletic success. Muscular growth. Muscle hypertrophy refers to muscular enlargement resulting from training, primarily owing to an increase in the cross-sectional area, the CSA, of the existing fibers. There is a positive relationship between muscle cross-sectional area and strength. The process of hypertrophy involves an increase in the net accretion, i.e. an increase in synthesis, reduction in degradation, or both. Accretion of the contractile proteins actin and myosin within the myofibril, and an increase in the number of myofibrils within a muscle fiber. Alright, so remember that. It's usually an increase in the net accretion of contractile proteins actin and myosin within the myofibril, and an increase in the number of myofibrils within a muscle fiber. The synthesis of other proteins, structural proteins, like titin and nebulin, also occurs in proportion to the myofilament changes. The new myofilaments are added to the periphery of the myofibril, resulting in an increase in its diameter. These adaptations create the cumulative effect of enlarging the fiber and collectively the associated muscles or muscle group. Mechanical loading leads to a series of intracellular processes that ultimately regulate gene expression and subsequent protein synthesis. Several proteins, e.g., I'm not reading them, have recently been identified that are responsive to mechanical stress and that increase in activity prior to hypertrophy. Recent studies have shown that resistance training has the potential to alter the activity of nearly 70 genes. In fact, upregulation of factors myogenin and myo-D involved with muscle regeneration, known as myogenesis, and downregulation of inhibitory growth factors have been shown following resistance exercise. Alright. Recent studies have shown that resistance training has the potential to alter the activity of nearly 70 genes. In fact, upregulation of factors involved with muscle regeneration, a process known as myogenesis, and downregulation of inhibitory growth factors have been shown following resistance exercise. Further, protein synthesis is elevated after acute resistance exercise and remains elevated for up to 48 hours. The magnitude of protein synthesis depends on carbohydrate and protein intake, amino acid availability, timing of nutrient intake, mechanical stress of the weight training workout, muscle cell hydration levels, and the anabolic, hormonal, and subsequent receptor response. Alright, things to remember. The process of hypertrophy involves both an increase in the synthesis of the contractile proteins actin and myosin within the myofibril, and an increase in the number of myofibrils within a muscle fiber. The new myofilaments are added to the external layers of myofibril, resulting in an increase in diameter. Just want to clear that up. More myofibrils and larger. Muscle fiber disruption and damage during intense resistance exercise are also a stimulus for muscle growth. The repair process of remodeling the muscle fiber may involve a host of regulatory mechanisms, hormonal, immune, and metabolic, interacting with the training status of the individual and the availability of protein. The sequence of protein synthesis involves water uptake, non-contractile protein synthesis, and contractile protein synthesis. Reduced degradation maintains the size of fibers by stopping protein loss. It may take at least a few weeks before muscle hypertrophy becomes evident during resistance training. With the initiation of heavy resistance training programs, changes in the types of muscle proteins, fast myosin heavy chains, start to take place within several workouts. However, muscle fiber hypertrophy appears to require a longer period of training, greater than 16 workouts. Similar to power and strength improvements, initial gains in hypertrophy are the greatest, with the rate of muscle growth lessening over time. Athletes studied during 2 years of heavy resistance training showed increases in strength in parallel optimization of training intensity. Although muscle fiber hypertrophy contributed little to increased lifting performance, athletes studied during 2 years of heavy resistance training showed increases in strength that paralleled optimization of training intensity. Although muscle fiber hypertrophy contributed little to increased lifting performance. The magnitude of hypertrophy ultimately depends on the training stimulus or program prescribed. Optimal muscle growth may result from maximizing the combination of mechanical and metabolic stimuli via training periodization. Mechanical factors include the lifting of heavy loads, inclusion of eccentric muscle actions, and low to moderate volume, all characteristics of strength training. Metabolic factors center around low or moderate to moderately high intensity training with high volumes using short rest intervals, characteristics of bodybuilding training. The mechanical factors result in optimal recruitment of muscle fibers, as muscle fibers needed to be recruited prior to growth. Growth factor expression and potential disruption to the sarcomeres, all of which increase the muscle cross-sectional area. In addition, the metabolic factors stress the glycolytic energy system and results in increased metabolites that may be involved in muscle growth. These programs elicit the most potent anabolic hormonal response. We'll leave it right there. That is page 99, muscular adaptation, going into muscular growth, and then ending on page 100. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for right now. See ya.